I'm Gail Nelson, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami. I'm pleased to be in studio today with the one and only Dr. Sarah Haynes, the founder of the Dr. Sarah Haynes Collective. That's just chock full of just intelligence and just expertise and passion for just helping others. That's why mentoring is so important. Dr. Haynes is a tech entrepreneur, philanthropist, educator, professor, activist, community builder, volunteer, and a mother. One of the things that makes her so special is the fact that Dr. Sarah Haynes has really led with her heart. When I think about the roles that she's played as founder, CEO, chair, and COO roles with the Pishavar family offices and the Pishavar Haynes Foundation, boat mobility with Olympic champion Usain Bolt, and the Dr. Haynes Collective, and after serving on the UNICEF steering committee, Dr. Haynes also joined the UNICEF Board of Directors in 2020. Dr. Haynes, it's a pleasure having you here at Big Brothers Big Sisters in the studio.
It is an honor to be here and to be able to share this platform with you, President and CEO of Big Brother Big Sister here in Miami. And so excited to be able to share our Pishavar Haynes Foundation goals and values along with the Dr. Haynes Foundation Collective and the foundational values that we have that we want to share today with your audience, with our audience, and share the knowledge and expertise that we have. We're honored to be able to have Dr. Jacqueline Dell'Orazio. She is the expert on Dr. Haynes Collective, and she's here to share her knowledge about her story and how she has used the 5 pillars of the Dr. Haynes Collective methodology to navigate her balance as much as possible in her professional and personal career. She's a president and CEO of Recapture, the Vision International, and relationship marriage coach. She's known as America's marriage coach. Dr. Jacqueline Dell'Orazio has developed proven tools to help couples in their relationships and discover healthy approaches to marital circumstances across all borders. As a marriage coach and wife for over 20 years, Dr. Jackie continues to travel coast to coast discussing the plights attached to institution of marriage and underprivileged families. Her mantra derives from the idea of the foundation of any society starts in the individual home. And it's so important here at Big Brother, Big Sister to know that sometimes maybe at home the foundation might be different than what the environment can also help support externally. And the community impact is so important, where all of us can go back to a collectivist approach to helping share knowledge, nurture each other's potential to be able to reach to the highest potential. So as a marriage coach and certified approved premarital course provider, she has a lot of tools in her toolbox that she can hopefully be able to share with us in a brief amount of time here we have today. So we'll get started.
Let's jump in, no doubt. Dr. Jackie's in the house.
So you guys go way back, it sounds like, here in Miami, and would love to know your story, if we could share that with the rest of our audience, how it started, and the middle, and how it's going now, and what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind? What are some of the adjectives that you can apply to your life story, if you can share that a little bit with us?
Wow. So I'm a native of Miami. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with such powerful people. There's power in the house, so that makes me light up right away. And so talking about my life, you asked some really intriguing questions. Adjectives. I was like, oh my God, why adjectives? But I would say that the first one, being a girl born here of color in Miami. When I was born, there were still colored water fountains and colored restaurants and white restaurants. So I said that the word for me, the adjective that I would use would probably be adaptable, because I found a way to create, to kind of contain all of who I was in an adaptable model, because you really had to be that in order to navigate your path when I was very young. So in childhood, I would say that would be the key word that I would think that would describe that. A person who understood that she had so much to give and so much that she wanted to do, but also slightly aware that there were a lot of norms and cultural issues that were there to say, no, you can go here, but no further. Mm-hmm. And in the face of that, saying, I will not be stopped. Yep. So let me adapt to figure out a workaround. So that would be the word I would think.
That's beautiful. So adaptable is one of the adjectives. And can you tell us a little bit about your story of how it's going now and what projects you might be working on that we can all
Sure,
learn from?
sure. So, now that I just had a birthday, so I passed the age of 24.
All
Mm-hmm.
right.
I'm going up now. So now I'm thinking about, I've been that kind of person that wanted to, I really feel, Sarah, that I'm a person I'm an old lady that's gonna change the world. And I'm gonna do it up until I can't do it anymore. I might be carrying my little purse with some little heels on still, at 80 something years old. And I'm determined that I won't leave the planet until I leave a footprint.
That's right.
And the footprint is going to be something that's going to show people the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is going to be a footprint that people are not going to feel that the shoes are too big for them to fill. It's going to be a footprint that's going to inspire, but also lead and guide people to know, don't come to the planet just for you, but make your life something that's more expandable, that serves others. And I think that we can serve in so many different ways. We can serve at actual service. We can serve by the knowledge that we build, because you have to dig for knowledge. But then when we share it, oh my God, it enriches everybody around us. It could be in so many different facets. And so that's what's important to me. So on the horizon, what I'm working on right now is really doing a lot around building and strengthening families. So I don't know if you're aware, but less than 37% of African-American children or children of color are born into a two-parent household. And we see with the pandemic how much strain has been placed on relationships today. So I want to really help people to find strength and to find hope and resilience in the midst of this difficult time. So I built a platform for healthy relationships. And I've also developed curricula that are being taught in public school districts around the country to give people relationship skills, self-empowerment. Sometimes you just got to remember how great you are before they broke your heart, right? Sometimes you got to remember, you got to encourage yourself when times get, rough, because it's not always someone else that you can rely on for that. And so I want to build strength. I want to build life skills. I want to show people how to figure out purpose and their own direction. I want to teach people how to do the things that we don't come with a manual knowing how to do. That's right. Which is how to choose a suitable mate, how to build a strong and healthy relationship, how to raise very resilient and independent-minded children. These are the things that we learn how to cook, how to drive in school, but we don't learn how to do those things that really do move the needle. And so I have Relationship Keys, which is my new site, which is basically a university about how to do life, how to assess, and it's driven by data and research. So there's assessments to help you to figure out what area of your life do you need to impact at this particular point where you feel that you're underdeveloped or stuck or stagnant. Then there's the relationship part, which teaches you how to build a strong relationship, a romantic one, how to do it professionally. And then I have the master classes, which kind of talk about how I became who I am and what I did to get there. Apart from that, we're working with churches and local community-based organizations now, and we're providing free date nights.
Oh, nice.
That's right. Couples can sign up, and we take them on 7 date nights. So some of the things we do is we take them for a cooking class. They go to a bowling. It could be that we're doing dance class. It's all kinds of things like that, but they learn about life, financial literacy. They learn about how to put the zeal and the zest back into the relationship, how to do parenting, co-parenting, which is big nowadays because there's so many people that are cohabitating. And so many fathers that don't have a strong relationship with their kids because they're single dads. And so that's something I'm very passionate about. We just finished our first year of services, and we just capped it off with a resort stay. We did a retreat, marriage boot camp, and a singles fit for marriage in Orlando. And so just astounding outcomes that happen free of charge to those that want to participate. And so I'm hoping that people will hear that. We even have people flying from New York to participate, and that's something.
That's special. And I tell you what, just hearing about this, these relationship keys and with executive coaching, with mentorship, I mean, what I do every day around here, it goes without saying that you will do some trainings for our bigs, littles, the families, But I got to just go back to you, Dr. Jackie. Who mentored you? Who's that? Who was that go-to person? Maybe not now, and maybe it still is, but when you were at the crossroads of your leadership journey, who was that go-to person that would tell you if you were a jive turkey or not?
Well, he's no longer with me. His name was Roy Brown.
Mm.
He passed away some time ago due to cancer. And Roy Brown and a colleague of his was Dr. Clarence Jones. I don't know if you know Dr. Jones.
That name's familiar.
He was an assistant superintendent in Miami-Dade Public Schools.
That's it.
Dr. Clarence Jones is like that figure now. He always, GD Jackie. That's what he says to me when I'm out of line or whatever. Get it together, or you need to do so-and-so. But I met him many years ago when I started my educational path. But then, believe it or not, he became, when I did my doctorate, he actually was the chair, my, what do you call it? My, the chair for my dissertation chair. And so, I had to work hard to impress him because he has high standards. But he would definitely be one of the ones that's helped me professionally, for sure.
What's the best advice that he gave you? I'm curious to learn about that.
One of the things that I would say that he taught me, because I'm so by the book that, and I hope that the listeners understand this, I'm very principled, and I'm willing to die literally for my principles. And what I learned is that some of those principles are misplaced, right? In the world of business operates through relationships and favors.
100%.
Well, see, I didn't know that. I learned that late in life. And he was like, I don't even know how you got this far without it. I've never done a favor. Because I'm a charity also, I always thought that would be wrong. And I'm also thinking about, I'm a straight talker. So I'm a plain talker. What I think or I feel, I operate that way. So I just tell you honestly. And I think that I kind of felt like also I wanted my relationships to be about the humanity. Right. I like you. I like to be around you. I don't want to use my connection to you for anything other than that.
Correct.
And I realized he's one of the people that kind of showed me like, girl, right. You need to do favors. You need to use your relationships.
I think you make a really great point, and this is something that I talk to youth and in my coaching as well. Relationships are so important, but they don't necessarily have to be transactional relationships. When we talk about long-term relationships, to be able to maintain long-term relationships, it's really walking into a networking situation, not just trying to get cards and extract value and what can you do for me, but open up and step into a relationship with what can I do to support you. The mayor of Miami has done that and has made huge gains in the world of bringing and making Miami a tech hub now by saying, how can I help? So I think that's the nuance and difference between doing favors rather than just being who you are authentically and helping extend whatever skills, knowledge you have. It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. So if you can share, hey, have you been here? Have you done that? Have you looked into this scholarship or this grant? That's how you can mentor people, by sharing knowledge and information, which is much more monetarily valued in the long term than exchanging a currency, as it were. There are different types of currency. So I think that's the kind of paradigm shift that when you say it, I wanted to tap into, let people know how to network properly, is really to walk in to say, what is your biggest problems? What keeps you awake? And how can I help you? That's what Sheryl Sandberg did to get her position at Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg, and really trying to solve other people's problems is what I hire for, what you hire for, what you're looking for is people who are resourceful, who can find workarounds like we began this conversation with.
And that adjective, adaptable, that you mentioned, Dr. Jackie, adaptable but authentic. You talk, you speak your truth, you're principled, but you had to adapt to recognize relationships and favors. That's how business is done. And so when you think about relationships, and as we move forward, because I know we're a little pressed for time today. We got them back to back today.
This is the beginning of a conversation of many conversations.
No, see, Jackie, I tell you what, the next time we talk, you're going to be in studio.
That's
because
right.
The drive is not that far.
Okay.
But authenticity, I mean, just like kids, the last question I have for you. Kids pick up on, when kids say someone's fake, you can forget about it. It takes them seconds to pick up on that. So authenticity, how important is that in leadership?
to me, authenticity is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned about authenticity is it does correlate to your tolerance for truth.
Yep.
So if you're really like, your truth levels at 98, then your ability to be autonomous, authentic, tends to correlate with that. And I think that people have different levels or needs to reserve who they are or to keep some things back. But I feel like there's nothing more freeing than living life without a mask. Living life without a mask, meaning this is who I am,
Not
and
these
this is
masks.
what you get when I show up. I love that. See, I love it. So I love my freedom is in my ability to be authentic, and I just love existing in that way. And there were some areas of my life where I felt, because I'm naturally shy. I was, and about like 2 years ago, being on the air and everything, I was like, I've got to stop being shy, because sometimes to be in social circles, I would go home and I'd be worn out,
Yep.
with the perspiration ring under the arm, because you just I was so shy that way. But I found in areas where I would be more tense and kind of not as natural and easy flowing, I found my liberty in that. And being who you are wherever you are, man, it's a beautiful thing.
That's the best freedom.
Freedom.
Yep.
That's a word I was thinking.
That's exactly right. We're all synced up in our minds and our hearts, and just wanted to thank you so much for coming here and serving Big Brother, Big Sister by sharing your knowledge, being at the Dr. Haynes Collective and the Pishavar Haynes Foundation, giving back to the community to increase access for education, healthcare, and economic resources, more importantly. So we have volunteer opportunities here, and companies can sponsor for less than $1,500 a mentorship. That's $4 a day, I think it comes to. So we want to make sure to shout out your free marital counseling. I might sign up for it also. I've been married 22 years, but it's a work in progress. And every day you choose to be with the person that you're with and make things better for the future and the legacy you want to leave behind. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Jackie. And if you can continue the conversation, I look forward to many more conversations here in studio in the next time.
No doubt about it.
It's my pleasure. And thank you for the great work that you both do.
Thank you.
Dr. Haynes and your collective, and you as well, Gail, with Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
Thank you. I'm Gail Nelson, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami, in studio with the one and only Dr. Sarah Haynes from the Dr. Sarah Haynes Collective, mother, tech entrepreneur, volunteer, all around just great person who served on the UNICEF board of directors, boat mobility as well with Olympic champion Usain Bolt, but just happy to be called a friend, partner, and we're in this together. So Dr. Haynes, welcome to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, to be able to represent the Pishavar Haynes Foundation as well as Dr. Haynes Collective, which is my new venture where I'm collecting all these incredible experts that are women and underrepresented to show that there are incredibly talented individuals in the world of STEAM, health and wellness, and business as well, so that people can tap into as mentor coaches, and to be able to share and extend my community as well is an important part of my wish and goal with this new venture, is to really talk about the 5 pillars of growth and how important it is to find as great of a balance as possible with these 5 pillars, which include career and finance, leadership and personal evolution. You're here to talk about health and wellness today. As a yoga instructor, I'm going to give a little bio background for Shettell, and so everyone can learn more about you and your services, and how important you've been to bring yoga into the sports arena as well as for elders. And the 4th pillars that we just talked about with Dr. Jackie is family and intimacy, and the most important being here at Big Brother Big Sister is community and network, and sharing our network and community so that we can be more powerful as a collective unit together. So just to give a background, Shettell has been practicing Vinyasa Flow Yoga, a powerful and dynamic system that combines asana and pranayama. She's completed over 200 hours of RYT under the expert guidance of Ganga White and Tracy Rich at the White Lotus Foundation in Santa Barbara, California. In addition, she trained in renowned, I'm going to mess this one up, Krishna
Niroga.
You can say it better.
Krishnamacharya. Yes.
Yoga and Mandarim in India, and assisted Noel Clark in 2015. She's also has helped bring the benefits of yoga into the San Francisco football team and the 49ers. When I lived in San Jose in Silicon Valley, we became fast friends, and I've attended many of her incredible classes, and she's attended my retreats as well to provide yoga in the morning, as well as sunset and sunrise yoga in our retreats for executive to set their goals and to make sure that they make their health and wellness a priority, as well as finding greater balance. So we'll dive in. And would love to learn more about your story.
Thank you, Vita.
Thank you for making time to be here. I know I think you're in Austin
Absolutely.
now. So I would love to learn more about.
Moved from the Bay Area.
That's right. We moved. I think we both moved very closely together. They're from California, so you came to Austin. I came to Miami, and so we're moving all of the startups in different areas outside of Silicon Valley. Seems like we're part of that whole movement. But I'd love to learn more about how it started for you in the middle, and how's it going now for you in terms of what is the legacy you want to leave behind, and the values in which you aspire towards, in terms of if you could find 6 adjectives maybe for each of those pillars that we talked about in each, what are some of the ways that you would be able to identify your career as it relates to finding greater balance and really following your goals, and how you've developed yourself as a mother, as a professional, from working in design world and in the tech world, and then going into health and wellness. I'd love to hear that's part of the story as well.
All right. So it's been quite a ride, and I think I'm still progressing. There's, I don't see an end so far. But it started in India. I grew up in India, wonderful parents. I can think of, when I think about my childhood, it was happy, it was stable, it was active, it was very comfortable, and we were blessed in that regard. And, I grew up, I studied to be a graphic designer, and I did that for a bit of my adult life, and moved to Hong Kong with my husband, moved to the United States way back. And, that's when I found yoga. And I know I came to, it's kind of a little bit sad that I grew up in India and yoga was not a very cool thing to do as a child. But I found that as an adult here. And sometimes I say, think it was maybe a little late, but I think it was at the perfect time when I needed that grounding and that balance. And that's when I think that's what kind of pulled me to yoga. And like most people, you kind of get into yoga with a more external view of it, because you want a beautiful body, you want the toning, you want the muscles, and that's what you kind of think about when you get into yoga. But there is so much more to it. And not all of us are built in a way where we can just sit down and meditate and go inwards and connect with that higher power, whatever we want to all call it. It's different for all of us. But then some of us need to move through it using our bodies. And, it's kind of like you start with the gross, and then you kind of move more inwards to the more, the nuances of how you can get there. And that's kind of what I feel is my journey, and it's still ongoing with yoga. And I say I found it at the right time because I had just given birth, or maybe my second child. He was about a year old. My husband, was in the process of starting his own startup. I had a daughter who was 5, and everything was chaos. And yoga was the one place where I could feel more grounded, feel more centered. And that's kind of what pushed me into maybe, going into the training of being a yoga teacher. And my biggest thing was I wanted to share what I gained through yoga and bring it and offer it to other people, because they are just so many benefits to it. Whether it's children, and I do feel like if we bring mindfulness to our kids, if that was something we prioritized in our educational system now, the world would be such a better place in a few, decades. And I did do my advanced teacher training in therapeutic yoga, and that was in Oakland, in California. And my teacher would always say, he's like, we need to focus on the children. If we want to make the world a better place, we need to start with the children.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I didn't want to cut you off, but I think I'm so just moved by what you're saying in terms of helping our kids be present. I mean, we're so detached. Even technology is a beautiful thing, but these kids, you're in a room full of people and everyone has their head down and they're on their phone.
Oh
so
my goodness,
totally
yes.
detached from the present reality. And that's where mentorship comes
Absolutely.
in. Having that person that's present in your life, a person you do not want to let down, that guides you, coaches you, and teaches you. So tell me about a special
gives you
mentor.
accountability.
Yeah, and accountability. Tell me about a special mentor in your life.
I think I would, there's been a few, right? I mean, I've gone through so many yoga teachers, and each one has brought something so special, because every time I'm with a new teacher, there's like this aha light bulb that goes on. And it could be the simplest of the things that they say, and it just resonates because you're more receptive to receiving it. They say the right teacher shows up when the student is ready. And, I feel like that has happened to me multiple times. I think a lot of the teachers, where one of them would say is, just take the time to get to know yourself. And I try to communicate that with my own children. I'm like, learn to be with yourself. You're going to be that one person who you're going to spend the most amount of time with. And the thoughts in your head, those are the ones you're going to listen to the most. So learn to like yourself, learn to love yourself. Don't be conceited, not that kind of love, but learn to really appreciate what you have and what you are and where you come from, and embrace it. And, my daughter makes fun of me. She tells me, she's like, Mama, if you were a character in Friends, you would be a mix between Monica and Phoebe.
That's such a great metaphor.
Yes, because I say things like, words are your magic wand. It's like, don't ever speak negatively to yourself, even in jest. I'm like, your mind doesn't know any different. So speak to yourself the way you want somebody else speaking to you. Respect yourself, because only from there can you have respect for other people or expect other people to give you that love and respect. But it needs to start on the inside. And I think yoga can really bring that self-awareness and that discerning mind, right? A lot of the times I look at these children, they're constantly on their phones. They communicate with each other via texting. You put them face to face in a room, they don't know what to say.
Correct.
And it's extremely sad. And I'm like, you need to really be present, put your things away. And we talk about the balance, right, Vita? And in all reality, that balance is forever elusive. It's like we're all trying to find it. And I almost have come to this understanding at this stage in my life where I'm like, you cannot find that balance. What you can do is really learn to manage yourself. And be present in the moment. So, even if you have like that half an hour or an hour with your family, be fully there, completely there, not just physically. Put that phone away, turn your email off, turn the ringer off, and make eye contact with your family, with your children, with your spouse, and really be present. And then you won't feel bad about not being available to them the other 23 hours of the day, because you've given them at least that 1 hour of complete attention of what you can.
That's so great. That's so great. You've said so many great pearls of wisdom and advice for folks to follow. And I know you personally, so I feel like I have a window into your incredible spirit and your incredible light that you bring. And I'm wondering, in terms of we talk about balance, and millennials want balance, work-life balance, and we always talk about all the different 5 pillars in our lives. When you're starting a startup,
Yes.
your head's down, you're focused on financial and career goals. Guess what? Your health and wellness is one of the first things to go away, and then your family and intimate relationships start to
Yes.
get impacted. And as an operator
Yes.
myself of a startup, I completely understand that it really takes a strong commitment to make sure that you've put credit in the bank to be able to draw from, to be able to achieve all your goals. And we
Yes.
can't do anything big alone. And then it really takes a collective force where everyone's values are aligned in terms of making sure you
Exactly.
add value, make sure you're present, and the memories of what you had as a child and what you started this conversation with that's so important is what is the legacy that we want to leave behind? What are the memories that we want to leave behind? And people only remember the beginning and the end of, primacy and
Right.
recency in terms of the psychological terms. But I think in terms of how we show up and how we leave a conversation is important as well, and making people feel warm and welcome and cared for and cared about.
Absolutely.
So I know with the time that we've been given, which is very limited, we want to do just short snapshots with folks so that we can capture the attention of our audience, which is usually not more than 15, 20 minutes anyhow. So we're aligned with some of the science behind why we made this so short, but I hope to be able to continue the conversation again in the future so we can learn more from the wealth of information that you have to share with us, and would love to learn how can we get in touch with you if we want to do yoga. Do you do things? Is there anything that we can do? Should they DM me at Dr. Haynes Collective, and we can try to connect you through the collective as well?
Absolutely. That would be the best way to reach me. And, even though, the pandemic has shown us that the world actually is shrunk, right? We're all available via Zoom, via video calls. So yes, I've been doing a lot of yoga classes on Zoom. Have been able to, start some in person as well, which is great. But yes, people can reach me through you, Sarah, and I'll be more than happy to make time depending on what the clients need.
Maybe we can do something
so I'm
here, Big
flexible
Brother,
that
Big
way.
Sister for a group class.
I
Absolutely.
think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, that would be great. Sadly, my own children will not do yoga with me, but I know there are a lot of other children who do. And I did that in California when we were there. I was working with teens who came from trauma.
Yeah.
I was working with an organization to bring yoga to teens who came from trauma. It was mostly girls, but we were expanding the program to boys as well. So there's a lot of value.
We look forward to coming up with a program together so that we can add value wherever we go and build network and communities that are like-minded. So thank you so much for your time and for being here. I miss you dearly, but it's great to have technology to connect us no matter where we go.
It's a pleasure
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure meeting you.
All
And
right.
bye, Bita.
Bye, love. Take care.
Bye.